hello, hello.
Hello.
So today I labeled it as let's talk about our expectations, right? And how when we bring our expectations into everything, it disappoints us. So then that messes with our mental health. Because the minute you put your expectation on somebody else and what you think or how you think they should respond or how they should do something is when we start to get it all twisted and things start to go awry. And it starts with what we were talking about, right? About the relationships. When you get into a relationship with one person, you immediately expect that next person to be exactly like that other person. And it comes to like they allow you to do, what they expect you to do and what part you contribute into a relationship. So many of us have been in relationship upon relationship. You go into some relationships where nothing is expected of you. You just go into it and it's just that, right? Whatever it is. But then you have other relationships where, and it's not just relationships with personal relationships, it's relationships and jobs where we go into where I worked at one base at one time or one office. I'm not going to focus this on military, right? Because everybody has worked from job to job, but we go into a job and the people in that job say they've already had, they've been doing stuff a certain way. And you come in, but you think that way is just so extra, right? It's like y'all do too much steps to get to the end, maybe. And then sometimes instead of finding a good way to state stuff, you just blurt it out like, this is dumb. Y'all doing it so stupid. And it's not nothing against them. It's just how you're mentally dealing with whatever situation you're in. So you go into it, but like, you know what, this don't work for me. I can't do this. And you don't even give it a chance. You don't do anything. It's just you go in and you do whatever. And that's with relationship, personal, and in business, right? So you said to yourself, this is dumb and I'm not doing it. And I know I'm speaking about for myself because I went into a job and I thought that they were doing 10 steps when it could have been one. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And immediately I was like, I'm not doing it. And that's it. I shut it down. And that goes for a relationship. And I'm just talking for myself. Like in relationships, I say, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not. That's not what I want to do. So I'm not going to do it. And you start to kind of shut down when people tell you, well, maybe you should look at it a different way, right? And in reality, we should always look at things a different way. We shouldn't just take what we would call our own thought process, right? Our own expectations on this situation because everybody does things differently. Everybody takes in things differently. And the minute you say to yourself, I won't look at any more options because I think my option is the best. That's now when the thing doesn't go your way. Now you are disappointed because nothing worked out for you. And now you're mad. And for me, I know how I used to be. I would be like, if somebody says something to me I didn't like, I either snapped off or I just didn't talk. I'm done. Like I said, I was done. I'm done. I'm not talking. And for me, it's just if I snap off because I felt like my reasoning is right and I'm going to tell you and that's it. And if I shut down, I could see that the conversation or the situation didn't go no further. So I did not waste any more energy or time arguing with somebody when I already knew I was right and I didn't want to hear anymore because I don't want to talk about something I feel was done with. And I know that a lot of people now, it's like even with the pandemic, people feel that they don't want to have to go back to work, since jobs found ways to make it easier, make it so you didn't have to go. But in reality, now they want people to come back. And now people expect the job to work with them and not do what's best for the job. So in reality, the job, let's be real, unless you're working for yourself, that job doesn't have to do anything for you or anything that you want them to do. All they have to do is keep you employed. And technically, they don't have to unless you signed a waiver stating they can't fire you at any time. But they don't have to do what benefits you. They don't have to because it's their employment. So with that, we all go into it with what our expectations on what we think people should do for us instead of creating the reality you want and finding a better way to get your results instead of stomping your feet or carry on like a crazy person.
So, and I was prepared to go in and talk about expectations with relationship in regards to relationships, but I actually sat down yesterday, actually this week, and I looked at myself and asked, "Is my expectation too high?" And I even went to a couple of coworkers and I said, "Is my expectations too high?" Because I expect things to be a certain way, and if they're not that way, I'm looking at them like, why did y'all not do this? I've set everything in place for everything to happen smoothly, and why does it look like this? Is my expectation too high? And if it's too high, should I change my expectation? Because I know the minute I change my expectation, I just set a new standard for myself.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
not trying to do that. And here's another thing that I've learned, and somebody told me this a good while ago. They said, "You have high expectations, but you can't expect everyone to have those same expectations.
Yes.
But when you have high expectations, you make everyone around you not just look bad, but to look like they're not doing their job." So sometimes, and depending on where you're at, your high expectations and your high, um, what do you want to call it? Your work habits
Yeah.
can either lead you out of a job because now you're intimidating around everyone around you and you're making everyone else look bad. But
Yeah.
as you have said before, you can't apologize for that. Don't change who you are. Continue to
No.
be you. And if you are outperforming everyone else, maybe that's not the place where you need to be. Obviously,
Yeah.
you need to start having your own business or do something else where you can start pursuing your goals somewhere else and where somebody else can benefit from it, or you know that you need to go somewhere else to grow. But I had to look at my expectations because I know that as I look around, I see people who are comfortable where they're at. They're really not trying to gain anywhere. They just want to stay in that comfort zone.
Yes.
So I can't really push my expectations on them because they're comfortable where they're at.
Yes.
So what do you do? Should I change
So
my expectation
no.
because of them?
No. You don't change your expectations. You just don't expect them to do what you would do, right? You expect a high quality result from yourself. And when you leave a job, like, so your example is you left a little bit from work and you expected people to keep your area and keep your stuff flowing the way you would. You don't lower your expectations because you when you go back to work, your area is still going to flow. You just have to fix it back to where it works for you. But you don't ever down yourself. Like, my biggest thing is people always say, well, oh, what you wearing? So we could, I won't, if I don't overdress, I don't want to overdress because
Right.
I want to make sure that I fit in. I don't fit in. If I want to wear a sparkly dress with some sparkly shoes and a sparkly crown, I'm gonna wear my sparkly shoes, my sparkly crown, and my sparkly dress, and I'm gonna walk up in there all sparkly. You can look at me crazy, you can do what you want, but in the end, I'm comfortable where I am. And I'm not gonna let you make me feel like I should do anything different. When it comes to a job, when it comes to the
That's
standards,
right.
we don't lower our expectations for anybody. You keep your expectations, and those people who tell you your expectations are too high means they are living beyond what they should be doing, and they're okay with mediocre
That's right.
and half stepping everything. So when somebody tells you, "Oh, your expectations are too high," hmm, okay, that's your opinion, and we all have them. But I'm not lowering my expectations, no, my standards, because you can't keep up. And in reality, either they need to step it up to where, because we look at stuff and like with a job, your job when you do something, there's an expectation from the bosses, from the people who own the job, from the clients. There's an expectation of what people get. And when you just do the bare minimum, all you're getting is bare minimum, right? Because you're not striving to get higher results. You're not striving to get into a bigger position. You're striving to just keep your job and stay in your comfort zone because you're afraid to, if you step out, that person you was friends with for years might not want to be your friend anymore because now you're making them look bad. But you're not making them look bad. You are your own person. You are who you are. And the thoughts and the expectations you have for yourself is who you need to worry about. Because the minute you start to live up to somebody else's expectations, you start to be disappointed with the results you get from other people. Because if you know, like you're going in there, you know, I'm going to do what I do, regardless of who's watching, who's doing something, who's there. It don't matter what they do because you're going to always, but people always want to worry about others and what they think of them. And and that's with a lot of kids, right? But that's because their parents haven't taught them. Don't downplay how smart you are because the group of friends you hang with or you want to hang with aren't as smart as you. Either it's time to find a new group of friends or allow your friends to know this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. You don't get to tell me to be anybody else. You don't get to tell, and that goes from small to adult, right? Adults, we still have that child mentality where, oh, you know, everybody's standing at the water fountain, they talking, and I'm over here. Are they talking about me? Let them talk. If they're going to talk, they're going to talk regardless if they're talking at the water fountain, talking behind your back, talking in your face. They're going to always talk about you, even if you standing there with them at that fountain. What do you think some of them go home and do? They texting about, oh, you see what Cheesa did? Yep, I saw it. I did it. I own it. That's me. And that's who I'm going to always be. Like, I'm not going to be afraid to tell you, I don't like what you're doing. And I'm not going to stand here and listen to your negativity. Right? You don't have to like anybody. You don't have to be friends. We are all here to do a job, and it's your decision and your choice if you want to play the game with people or you want to handle your business. Because that's how I feel it becomes. You either playing somebody's game or you handling business and doing what you need to do for you.
And if you just sit around there and think about what people's thinking of you or saying about you, that alone is going to drive you completely crazy.
Bananas.
I even stopped. So I do recall one time when I was somewhere talking to this one guy. And he said, you do know when every time you leave, they always say something about you. And I said, you know what? I don't care. They either call me a standard barrier or the guy who just what have you. I really don't care. And I told him, I said, I don't worry about them people at all. Obviously, the only reason why they're talking about it because one, they envy me because they don't have what I have, or they're not wearing what I'm wearing, or any of that. I'm not worried. I told them, I said, stop worrying about these other people, man. Just as long as you do your job. And this person, he is so concerned with the way that people are thinking about him. And I says, man, do they feed you? No.
We're back to it, right? We're back to the maps.
We are back to it, and it's like you always have to keep reminding yourself, reminding others about what are they doing for you. Are they doing anything for you? No. I remember the one time you told this story that you were walking to work because your vehicle had broke down or it was in the shop, or I can't remember the exact story. But you got to work and one of the guys asked you, he says, hey, everything all right? I seen you walking. And you're like, well, you're going to ask me now, is everything all right? You didn't stop and ask me when you see me walking. So, do you really care? No.
They don't. It's a facade to be in your business, but they don't care enough to stop and see, are you okay? But you let me walk all the way to work.
Yes.
You let me get all the way to work. What? So the question you have to ask yourself is, even with that situation, how much do you really truly care about what somebody else thinks about what you're doing, right? Because are they paying your bills? Are they telling you? Okay,
They're not. They're not doing any of that. So why do you even care?
Yep. It's like we sit there waiting. You lived your life for other people.
It's care when they need from you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I think it's a slow connection. Just go ahead.
I said, well, I had to learn that because I thought people actually cared, but they don't really care until they need something. And then you see that they put their priorities first, but they expect you to really put their priorities in front of yours. Mm-hmm. And we tend to do that because we think, oh, they're going to either do something for me, they care about me, they're trying to help me, this and that. But it's hard to accept that. And I know the godly way is to say, hey, you help people even if you don't help them back. And I'm all for that. But when they take advantage of it,
yes,
that's wrong. When they continue to do it, that's wrong. And at some point, you got to say, hey, you know what? I'm here to help you.
Yes.
But I'm not here to carry you the entire way. I will help guide you along the way. I will give you some advice. But don't.
All right. So he's going through a bad.
When the money runs dry, when you know I could have.
Yes. Figure out a plan.
You got me heated already. I'm not even home yet.
So you cut out a minute, but I'm a backfill because I know what you're saying. So when people want help from you, they wait till everything has blown up and failed, and then they expect you to fix it by giving them money or doing whatever it is they needed. And then after their problem is fixed, they're gone. And it's back to the same hamster wheel of crap that they've been doing for this long. For me, this is something that in our relationship and then into our marriage was a very big situation, because for me, I don't play this, I'm going to patch you and fix your problem for you, and then we're going to move the hell on. Don't come to me when you done fall on your face, and then next time you fall on your face again, you feel that I'm always going to be there to pick you up, because I don't go to work every day to take care of a grown man or woman. I don't work hard to ensure that I have money when you need me. I do what I need to do for me and mine. And people are gonna be like, well, you know what, you always gotta help, cool. But I'm not in the game of giving for nothing. So we gonna give and take. If I'm gonna help you out, what am I getting for what I'm giving? Because you want something for nothing. And that's the biggest thing. And that's teaching your children, right? So we do allowances, right? What are your children getting allowance for? Are they just getting it just so you can cover up a way to give money? Because that rolls into what we're doing. Are these children producing the grades that they're supposed to be producing? Are they doing what they're supposed to do on their end to get this quote unquote allowance? Right? Because now you're teaching them that I don't have to do nothing and I'm gonna get some money. So they go into adulthood thinking that they're gonna find that person that is going to just take care of them. They want to be in a relationship with somebody who got that fast money. They want a relationship with somebody who is, oh, babe, what you need? What you want? Here you go. And then they're going to say, oh, well, my parents, they just give me money. So how come you're not doing that for me? And I'm going to just move on from you because you're not giving me what I want. And now I'm done with you. Yes. So in everything, our mental health, our mentality, anything that you want to twist or turn it in the way you want to turn it, when you decide to, and that goes with what we allow our children to think, right? So you give your children money, and then they say, well, my dad just gives me money, my mom just gives me money, so this is what I expect you to do. I'm expecting you to just give me money and let things go, and don't ask me no questions, because my mom and daddy don't ask me no questions, so you can't ask me no questions. But it's all in how you respond to things, because when you go to work go to work and the job says, this is what we expect you to do. This, and this. Are you always going to just do that, or are you always going to take yourself to the next level? Because if you take yourself to the next level, you're always preparing for the next level. You're not in one place all the time. Are you going to keep on that hamster wheel of, I'm just going to do just the bare minimum for people not to look at me sideways, for people not to expect more from me? Because in reality, that's what they're going to do. They're going to expect me to, if I fix this problem, they're going to that is my job, but they're going to expect me to continue to do this right thing when it comes down to it. So we all go through life wondering, right? Oh, if I do this, what do I get out of that? What is somebody going to think of me if I don't help? But in reality, if you do and live your life for you and do the right thing, right? Do that extra thing, do that thing that somebody needs from you. What do you think the outcome would be if you did the right thing? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just want to let you know that, babe, I'm home.
Boy, bye. So, the one thing that keeps coming up is people, they expect you to be the same person that you were always. And the minute you grow to the next level, somebody always trying to pull you back down to where they are, because you can't be better. You can't be better and do better. But it takes the strength to know that you leveled up for a reason. And if you continue to let somebody else pull you down back to where they think you should be, who is that benefiting? Who does that benefit? Does it benefit you, or does it benefit them? Good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I was just getting situated. I'm sorry about that.
So,
but yeah, going back to benefit. Who does it benefit? I think it goes back to what we always talk about putting yourself first, and not just that. And when we talk about, say, kids or family and our expectations on them and the things that we give them, we tend to, it's like we tend to not, at least my generation, I think, or depending on when you have kids, you tend to want to be friends with your kids and not actually be the parent with the kid.
yes.
And as we, how do you put it? As we get a little older and we get more financially, set, I guess.
Stable?
Yeah, stable. Financially stable, we tend to just, at least I have in the past, we tend to give them money as a way of showing them love.
We talking about how past are we talking, Pimp? Because
we talking about years ago. Years ago.
We're talking about, because yesterday's the past too, right?
Yes, but we're talking about years, and what we don't. And I think maybe men may be worse at that than women.
So I realize, I think I've known it for a very long time, that you like to incorporate men as the reason you do something, right?
Well, because I have a lot of conversations with men, and I understand.
That we back to that, you take and you say men think like that. That's how men think. And okay, granted that you want to say that, but let's go back into the position of where you are mentally at the time, right? Because you said you used to throw money at a situation and you thought that it was it, but
And it's hard to change because that's something that they expect. They expected it,
right? But we're gonna just talk about me and you, right?
Okay.
Because in this expectation, me and you've been together for 12 years, and in the beginning years, I didn't use it as expectations, but I did say that one thing you do now, you're gonna, if you don't stop it, it's going to continue, because let's put the word out there, right? They're gonna expect you to do it.
Yes.
They're expecting you to do it. And
now, as you said, now they will expect their fiance, their husband,
yes,
or their boyfriend, whoever they're with, their partner, to do the same thing.
realistic expectation on them.
Yes. Yes. Well, this is what I'm used to. This is what I expect from you. My father did it, so why can't you do it?
Yep.
And I'll never forget, because it was. I thought about it yesterday. I had high expectations in the military. The way I treated my soldiers, I would take that home and treat my kids the same way. And I recall them saying that, Dad, we're not your soldiers. Why do you treat us this way? And I thought that because I was good at training soldiers and helping them and guiding them and just providing that daily counseling for them, that I seen them grow. I seen them get better as soldiers, and a lot of them became great leaders in the military. So I was wanting to see and instilling that discipline in them. I wanted to see that in my kids. But one thing I didn't do, which was a big difference, is that I didn't show my family that they loved the love that they needed. And that was all of them, because I was so focused on trying to coach, teach, and mentor future soldiers and officers, and I see that look on your face. So did you say you wanted to change subjects?
You don't know how to do that, sister.
But it is an expectation that we cause ourselves too.
Yeah. But here's the deal. We can, even when you're teaching soldiers, mentoring, taking them to the next level, every soldier isn't the same. So what will work for one soldier may not work for another. So you took what you knew how to do best home to your children. Now, for me, it wasn't wrong because it's how you knew how to teach.
Yes.
But because they came back with that, we're not your soldiers, you just let it go. You just let it go because you didn't know how to do it. So when we don't know how to do something, we turn the other cheek when it becomes what's right and what's wrong. Because they don't want to be your soldiers. You don't want them to think, oh, I'm trying to be hard and treat them like soldiers. So you turn the other cheek and allow the crazy to happen. So when you let crazy happen, crazy continues to grow, because now you don't know how to separate the two. You become a friend. So because you didn't know how to soldier at home, you became the cool dad, right? Because that's what people see it as, is, well, my dad don't care. Dad did care, but dad didn't know how to handle it. So dad was like, well, you know what? Do it big, boo. Do it big.
It's like what they say about the preacher's kid and the police officer's kid.
They just wild out. They wild out. And I mean, you get what you get. But at some point, we have to own the crap that we produce. And kids can say, I didn't know no better, but you do. They know what's right and they know what's wrong, but they choose to continue to do what's wrong because it's easier to do the wrong thing than to turn around and do the right thing. So, and that goes
Yes.
for everybody. Everybody, you know that you're not doing the right thing, but because it's so much easier just to keep doing what you know it's easy for you, you keep doing it. And go ahead.
And they know they're wrong when other people are around, and then they realize they hold their tongue, like, oh,
Yep, let me not say that because
let me not say that.
because
Yeah.
I'm quick to say who the hell they talking to?
Yes.
Who you talking to?
And that's how it's almost like how, just as many years I spent in the military, there's a lot of times you can see soldiers are not doing the right thing, or they're not wearing the uniform right, or what have you, and they're all just hanging out doing whatever. But the minute they see you, what do? They start fixing themselves.
Oh. Wait, let's do better. Let's but they don't want to do better before it's the time, right? Somebody gotta come around for them to do better. But they knew. So if they can fix it when certain people are around, means you can fix it anytime.
That's right. But that's my whole point.
They choose. They make a choice to do what's wrong. And when you correct them, they ain't got nothing to say. They don't have nothing to say because they don't want to be corrected, right? They want to say, well, my dad let me do it. My boss let me do it. My boss is standing right here. He ain't saying nothing. But why should you correct me when the person who I live with don't correct me?
And that's the same way that soldiers do it. That's what soldiers say. That's what military members say, because their supervisor doesn't correct them.
Yep.
They don't feel like they should be corrected, or they don't feel like you should come to them and say anything to them. And if you have anything to say, you can go talk to my supervisor over there. Then you're looking at your supervisor is like, hey, because deployments, we got really close, and you understand what we've been through, and this and that, and we're a tight group. And it's like, I think we all know the difference between right and wrong. You know what the military expects from you. You know what your job in the civilian world expects from you. But you choose not to do it. You choose to find the easier way out.
You make a choice. That's what.
And then you got this new guy that's coming in here. He's wearing a long sleeve button up with a tie on, some slacks, and you used to wear those. You used to dress like that. But then you got this new guy, and now you're starting to get intimidated because you're like, uh-oh, is he here to take my job? Well, hey, guess what? Your expectations.
People lower their expectations when they get comfortable.
Yes.
Right? So we go into a situation and we say to ourselves, I'm going to work. I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to go home. That's it. I don't want any more, I don't want anybody to give me any more work. I just want to work my 9 to 5, if that's a time frame, right? I want to work my 9 to 5. The minute somebody comes in, I'll be the first one to tell you, I got kids. If you don't come to me by the time my clock ticks, time for me to go home, you can holler at me tomorrow. I will not be working over for anybody. I have to go home to my child. Yes, I was in the military, but I'm going to tell you, I am one. There's more out there, but I can only speak to me. Nobody goes above my family. Nobody. My child will not be sitting in nobody's babysitter just because you need your answer to something that you know you needed hours ago, but you waited till 4 o'clock. And I'm not saying to go around and be like, I'm not doing that. You just go home. But if it's something that could be done tomorrow, most of us don't work in no job that people gonna die. And if you do, don't let nobody die. But that's not what I'm stating. But remember the people who are there, because we sit there and we're going back to you and your peoples. They say, I've been to war. She don't know what happened. She don't know what I'm dealing with. Fool, you ain't at war no more. You at war with yourself. And you're allowing people, you yourself, to tell you what you should be. right? Because you got to be this hard soldier. You can't cry. You can't tell nobody how you feel. But now you have nobody to talk to. You sitting there by yourself. What was me? What was me? What was me? You don't understand me. But you don't take the time to say, you know what? I am hurting. I am hurting because I don't know how to separate my thoughts from reality. I don't know what I need to do. But you don't want any help. Because if you're going to sit there and say, destroy stuff, people, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people need some real serious help, but the first step to wanting and doing better is for asking. Because you can sit there and say, I want help, but then tomorrow you like, that person didn't understand me. Move on to another person. Like that avenue that you keep trying to go down, if it don't work for you, find a different avenue, but stop being silent and stop telling people you don't understand what I've been through when you don't want to give anybody the opportunity to understand. And everybody sits and they say, oh, she's just, this is from me, she don't care about nobody. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? How would you like me to care if if I ask how you doing, all you state is, I'm good. So who should pry, me or you, right? And should I be the one who be like, no, tell me what's wrong. Please tell me what's wrong.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a lot of people think that, well, because you don't say it or someone doesn't say it like that,
yes,
that you're just asking as a general question to just kind of pass the day by. Oh, how you doing? I'm doing good. And also you have to take your time and observe people too, because you can really tell if someone has a lot on their mind. And just this week alone, I've had, I think, 6 or 7 discussions about the topics that we have discussed today, and about people going through this of, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't have a plan. I don't know. I just don't know where to go. And the best time that they ever had was in the military, because they had some of this structure, this discipline. And I'm lost. It's like, well, what was the difference between now and then?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. There you are.
Okay, it came down to be, well, what was the difference between the military, your time in the military, and now?
Mm-hmm.
And they responded with, I guess it was expectations. The expectations we had in the military, the way we carried ourselves. Excuse me?
That was his response to expectations?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they expected the civilian world to, they didn't really expect it to be the same as the military, but they were hoping to find these groups that had the same type of structure as the military. And it just.
So for me, they didn't look in the right place. They chose a group or whatever they chose and expected that group to be what they didn't. But they never took that step to go further. Because if you want something from someplace and they can't give it to you, what's your next thing? Create it for yourself, right? I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of crackling.
Yes, I'm not sure it's my connection or what. But.
Okay, so when we expect something from a source or for whatever it is, if you can't find what you're looking for, first you have to ask yourself, what am I looking for? Right? Because the military, people saying that they don't get what was in the military is an excuse to me, because we live our life and what they want is the structure, right? So they want the military, like, to come. They want somebody to say, this is what you need to do, and this is how you're going to do it. That's what they want. They want somebody to tell them what to do.
That's the biggest difference. That is the difference.
They want somebody to say, take this thing, put it over there, or figure out where it's going to go. And when you're done, come back and we'll give you some more work. But if you get to a place and in your job, you're the person in charge, or because I know most of these people don't work for themselves, they're working in a place. Start figuring out what truly matters to you. And then when you figure out what matters to you, that's when you take things to the next level, right? Because you can walk around and say, I don't have the passion, I don't have a purpose. But so I read a book and it states that if you don't feel like you have a purpose in this world, that you're just dead. You're dead. Because we are not here to do nothing. We are here to fulfill our purpose in life. You don't know your purpose. It's time to sit down and be with yourself and figure out what brings you joy. And it's not another person, it's you. You have to figure out what makes you happy, because if you can't be happy with yourself, you damn sure can't be happy with nobody else. You will be destructive to you and them.
I'm getting a lot of, yeah.
Crazy.
Is there some type of...
Hold on. 1 second. Go ahead, talk. I can hear you.
No, I was just going to address that that part about the connectivity.
All right. Can you come get this? Hello, everybody. It's just going to be me for a minute. You have to end it. Thank you. So we're going to wait for him. I don't know where you're coming from. Left or right? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, do you want me to sit with it?
No, all right. Go ahead. You want to say about the connection, or you were going to say about what I said?
Just about the connection.
Okay. So finding your purpose in life. I know we talked about it in one of the first episodes when we talked about what makes you happy you would do for free, right? Something that you would be willing to do for free no matter what. Like it brings you so much joy to help somebody do something, to build something, to create stuff. What, like you could sit there and do it for hours. Like you can just be in the zone doing it, producing stuff, creating stuff, doing whatever it is that brings you joy. Because we can say all day that I don't have no passion, I don't have no purpose, but you're going to work every day just sitting there and walking on that hamster wheel doing just the job, right? But when you get to work, it's like you're like, I don't want to be here. I hate it here. I this and this and this. Now it's time to figure out what really brings you joy. And continue to say, nothing brings me joy. There ain't really nobody can help you if that's all you're going to continue to say. We are creators. We can create anything we want. We can do anything we want to do. We just have to make that choice to do it. So you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to do for me to figure out what I want? And if it's sitting down and mind mapping, you write yourself in the middle and you start to write ideas that come to you around. And when you look at that, you state to yourself, okay, what can you do within the next 30 days that's written down on that piece of paper that can take you to the next level, take you to where you want to be? And that's where you start to figure out what truly matters to you and what you want to do. Because in reality, we can sit here all day and say, nothing brings me joy. But if my wife comes back, if me and my girlfriend get back together, if we just patch this up real quick, then I'll be happy. But then y'all be miserable together because you're still in the same damn place, because she ain't gonna help you all day. You can expect somebody else to be your source of happiness. Yes, they can make you happy, but if you can't make yourself happy, you are not helping anybody. Did you want to say something? You got that look.
Uh, no,
No.
I'm good. I'm just thinking about some of the conversations that I had with those individuals and the reason why they're not happy. And a lot of it is like what you said about the mind mapping. It's almost like they don't know where to start.
Start with you. You have to be in the middle. So mind mapping starts with, let's say, start with 6 circles. So it's you in the middle, 6 circles around, right? It can be what you're currently doing. You can put what you're currently doing in a box. You can put, so say you want to write a book. You can write a book. You want to start a YouTube channel. Put that in that box. You want to, what are some things? I don't know. Learn how to garden. I mean, whatever it is you feel like that, you know, throughout the day you see something on TV, you're like, oh, I would like to do that. Put it in a circle. And if you need to add some more circles, add it. Then you need to look at the list of the things that you have in that circle and decide which one of those things can be done right now. Right now.
Right.
So, and then ask yourself, what do you need to do to get there? So, and if some people, they say when you mind map, you should start with 3 things, right? The 3 things that you want to accomplish within a reasonable time frame. For those who are super confused, let's start with 1. You choose 1 thing and you say, how do I get to this next step? How do I get this? What do I need? Who do I need to reach out to? And sit with that. But let me tell y'all something. When we do anything in life, it's what we want. It ain't about what anybody else wants. It's not about what anybody else thinks we should be doing. It's about what you want for yourself. So when you mind map and you make this decision to sit down and decide what you're going to do to take yourself to the next level, ask yourself, what are you willing to do for you? Because we all get all wrapped up in doing something for ourselves. But when nobody holds us accountable, we could just let that thing go to the wayside. Nobody ever knows about it because you could disappoint yourself in every way, but you will not disappoint somebody else that you made a promise to. Or you may be that person that disappoints everybody and don't care about nobody and care about anybody else's feelings but your own. But if you truly want to be productive and produce real results, it's time to start holding yourself accountable. And if you disappoint yourself, know that every time you disappoint yourself, know that that's the trait that you're going to take into a relationship or into that situation and quit when you get ahead. So start being real and holding yourself accountable for the things that you want in your life. And that is with everything. That goes with the job, with the passion, with losing weight, and those who want to gain weight. I mean, we start these things and we're like, that seems just too hard. So I'm just go back to doing what I was doing because that was easier for me. And if you continue to do that with everything in your life, you will always do that because it's easy to just give up on yourself. It's easy to just, you know what, nobody else knows that I want to do this, so I'm just not going to do it. And I'm going to walk away. And then I'm in the background like, oh, man, you know, I should have done that. We could have, should have all day. But in reality, what are you willing to do for you? That's what you have to ask yourself. Am I willing to sit here and do nothing, be disappointed in myself? But then you're snappy at people who come and ask you a question like, hey, what happened to what you were going to do? Nothing. Don't worry about it. And now you're snapping at people for what? Because you didn't do what you told them you were going to do, or you disappointed yourself? Because our real expectations in what we do, what anybody else does, is what we expect. So you go into a situation, you call a friend, you be like, hey, I want to do this. And they be like, oh, that sounds cool, right? Or you have those other ones like, you shouldn't do that. That sounds crazy. Don't allow people to deter you from your dreams, because we were all given dreams. And like I said before, if you don't do something that you've been dreaming about, or that dream that was given to you, and then somebody else does it, don't say they stole your dream. Your dumb behind just didn't take action, and it was given to somebody else. Like you didn't want what was given to you. And
Oh my.
when we met, I told you all the time, if you have this idea and you say to yourself, you know what? just because you don't know how to take it to that next level, you have to be willing to be open for things to come to you, how to get to that next level. Sometimes the how isn't our business. It's just knowing that this is what I want to do, and I will not stop until I get what I want, and not allow somebody else to tell me that's dumb. You
Even
should.
with the exactly, even if you're gonna encounter obstacles. There's going to be several obstacles, but you just have to find a way around them and keep going.
It's about your mindset.
It is. It's your mindset. I often think of the time that me and a good friend of mine, we attempted to climb the stairway to heaven there in Hawaii, and my mindset was, we're going all the way to the top. We're not turning around. Mm-hmm. And at the top of the ridge lines, it is literally probably a foot to 2 feet wide, and you look down, it's very, very steep. If you slip, that could be it. You could be gone. So it started raining, and we got to the top. Not to the top, we got halfway. We didn't really know where the top was, because no one really showed us, said that, hey, it's a 3.5 hour hike. So we're about an hour and a half into it. Starts raining, and it's slick. And he says, maybe we should turn around. We need to turn around. I said, no, we'll keep going. As we start to turn around, a couple comes up the hill. And this one guy and girl from another country. This was their dream, to come all the way over here and climb this mountain, mm-hmm. to get to the top, to the stairway to heaven. And we looked at each other and says, are y'all really going to go? What do you think they did?
They went to the top.
We took a picture, and they took off. But the reason why we turned around was because we knew that we can always come back to it. But what happened for the next 6 months? We turned around, we went home. And every day for 6 months, I looked at that mountain. Every day. And it was on my heart. And I said, man, I missed my opportunity. Time is ticking. We're about to PCS. We're about to actually retire. And here we are. We didn't do it. The second time we went, we said, we have to go after, we have to get this time. It was raining. And there was a big creek that we had to cross, a stream. And there was a large couple there, because most tourists go to Hawaii, they want to go up this trail, up this mountain. They want to climb to the stair. They want to get to the top of the stairway to heaven. And there was the stream was very wide, and it would come all the way up to your knees. So many people stopped to say, I don't know if I can do this. I can't cross the stream. I'm going to turn around. And I told him, I says, we've been here before. If you turn around now, you're going to regret it. Mm-hmm. You may end up regretting it for the rest of your life. Yeah, this is an obstacle, but you have to keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Luckily, we got to the top of that mountain 3.5 hours later. And yeah, it has smoked us all. And I'm telling you, I just had surgery. But it was a great experience. But after that, I never once thought about that mountain again, because I just completed that goal that I had to climb to the top of this mountain. And I tell people all the time, if you don't go after your dreams, if you don't go after your goals, you're going to regret it. And you're going to sit there talking about wish I coulda, woulda. Man, that could, like you said, they stole my idea. No, they didn't. You cut yourself short. You tried to aim to the top and you missed. You didn't even jump off the ground. You tried to dunk, you can't even jump. How are you going to jump if you don't even try to jump? Yeah. And not only that, you're not even trying to get yourself in the shape to jump.
Yeah. It all begins.
And that's sad. Start. Yeah, just start. Start somewhere. There's a guy that I see every day when I go to work. I go outside and do some pull-ups, and I see this guy. He is very he's a very healthy man. Very, very healthy man is what I like to say. And I see him every day walking, and he's sweating. And I see people look at him like, you, that guy's, he's always walking. He hasn't lost any weight. And I'm thinking, wow, well, who are you to say something like that?
Mhm.
You don't know what's going on in his life. But the most important thing is that he gets up every day and he's walking. Even if he is not making much improvement, he may be losing a pound a month, but he know he's doing something. He's getting after it. Now, what can you say about your dreams and goals? Are you taking these little steps to get one step closer? Probably not. When you talk to people that say, oh, I'm almost 30 years old. I thought I would have this and that at 30. Why would you think that? You haven't done anything in the past 3 years.
We got an expectation on ourselves.
Yeah, expectations. Do it now. I hear people like, man, you guys are doing well off. Yeah, that's because look at us now. We get up in the morning. We try to get our priorities done. We try to stay focused because the last career should not be your best career. It should not be your best career. You should always establish a new goal. Once you complete that goal, look at that. Look at your vision board. Look at it. Look at this right here. I don't even know what the camera, but look at it. Say Butlevation. That was a vision that I had. People laughed at me. It was like, Butlevation? What is that? Man, I've got a vision. I know what's going to happen before us. And let me tell you about something. And babe, I'm sorry. I know I'm running my mouth a lot, but there is one key or critical point I would like to make. Is that I have been very, very selfish over the years. And I would like to admit that to everybody watching or soon to watch this later on. I was selfish. And a lot of people, and I'm not going to say men, I'm going to say people in general, they're very selfish. Because if you were in a relationship, which how many years did it take me to learn this? 12 years?
12.
12 years.
For those that don't know, 12 equals how much time we've been together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like, say, 18 years. But 12 years, I was so focused on our marriage. At least that's what I thought. Because I thought me trying to go after my dreams and goals and make money and do everything to support my family, that's what's going to make her happy. And it's wrong, because if your goals are not tied to your spouse's goals, and it don't have to be the same thing, the same interest or whatever, but you got to have buy-in with your spouse, your loved one. You have to have some buy-in. My wife loves to speak. My wife I married my wife because she is a hard charger. When she says she's going to do something, she does it. I noticed that from her from day one. When I was told that, hey, this person needs someone to run with, I said, okay, I'll be there at 5 o'clock. She runs at 5 o'clock. I show up at 5:05. She's already out there and stressed and ready to go. And I'm thinking, man, surely when they say 5, it means 5:03, 5:05. We may not even leave till 5:10. But no, not my wife. And every day she has proved over and over and over to live up to her standard. Whatever she sets out to do, she does it. Any type of business plan she has, she does it. This speaking gig right here, she does every single thing. She knows I like to speak, but I wasn't set up for everything. She sets everything up. She gets after it. And then she holds me accountable. And when I'm all out of shape, she looks at me and says, hey, what is that? You're a little poofy today. You need to get in that gym. You need to do something. And I think we all need that. And people may say, well, that's a little harsh. Why would somebody? No, you need someone to stay on top of you. We all need someone to hold us accountable.
You're one of those people talking about that's kind of you. Can you be a little nicer and kinder?
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes it hurts a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, man, I'm down and out. Come on now. And it's like, babe, I can't work out. My shoulder, I just had shoulder surgery. Well, guess what? You're not getting all this food. Oh, well, hold on now. But you need someone to hold you accountable. But that's the one reason. But here's the thing. I have always thought that me wanting to accomplish my dreams and goals, that my spouse is just going to follow me. And it's not like that. You should never think like that. Because to expect your spouse to just follow you throughout your military career or your civilian career or whatever you got going on, you have to become one. You need to start thinking together and just include each other. I didn't do that. And she broke up with me several times because I just didn't see it. I did not see it because I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? I'm going to work every day. I'm getting up early. I'm taking the trash out. I'm doing this. What am I doing wrong? Well, what are you doing for me? And how important is your family to you? What do you mean? I'm going to work. Can't you see that's my way of taking care of the family? You don't have to go to work to take care of your family. There's other things you need to do to take care of your family. You see this little boy right here?
Stop.
Yeah, he wants to go ride his bike. He don't want to ride in the rain like you did yesterday. And these are the things that we have to do. We have to understand even our wife's expectation, our spouse's expectation, our kids' expectation. I'm glad we're talking about expectations because it's hard to accept it. What are our kids' expectations? Because guess what? They didn't have a choice to be brought in this world. You created that.
Yep.
It's y'all's responsibility to take care of your kids. All these deadbeat dads out here having all these kids, not taking care of them. And I had a conversation just this week with a young man that thought the same way that I did growing up. And we think that because you're the mother and you had the child, that you're always going to be there to take care of them. So it's okay if I can just, leave one day. And I would like to say this story real quick. I'm sorry. I'm just running my mouth a lot, but this did not hit me until I told this to someone else that I love, one of my young ones, because the script was switched. It was switched, and I didn't realize it until the other day. Because when RJ was crying when he was a baby, I was downstairs watching TV. And Moms was there. And RJ was crying, and you were upstairs, and I don't know if he was stressing out or anything. And Moms comes in and turns off the TV right as I was watching. I was watching this. I was so mad. She says, "What are you doing, boy? You don't hear Cheesy upstairs?" Okay, let me not stop. Let me stop talking. She said, "What? You don't hear Cheesy upstairs?" I'm like, "Yeah, but she's okay. She's the mom. She knows how to take care of this. There's nothing really I can do. I'm not an expert at taking care of kids. I just go to work and come home. And even though we both were working, it's like an expectation that men have. And I do go back to men. Men have thinking that, well, you're the mother. It's kind of like your role. Not that I'm thinking it's your role, but it's like we know that you, no matter what, it's almost like you guys are speaking the same language, but the father and kid don't speak the same language because we didn't have the kid. You guys are already connected. Mm-hmm. Not to say that a man cannot be connected, but you do. So, and I have talked with many men like this. But when it comes down to your own kids, and you see the same thing that you did happening within your own kids' relationship, because that's when I looked at him. I said, "Hold on, you need to get off of that game right there, and you need to help my daughter." And you're like, "Wait a second, I did the same thing. How wrong was I?" And that's just something that we all have to understand, that we all have a part to play as a parent. These kids look up to us. Everyone should be a role model. If the wife is cooking, then the man should cook too. Now, I can't say that I can cook that good and put all the flavors in there, like all that stuff she do, but we should at least attempt and try, or at least help out and say, hey. But just because you're a man, just because maybe even you're the breadwinner, it's not fair. Because if we want to say that we are truly equal in the world, man and woman is equal, then we should all do equal parts and we should all help each other. I don't want to create a business just with Butlovation and my face on the front of it. I used to want to do that. I know that I can be more successful if I have the person that I love most with me by my side, because no one is going to care about your business more than you. The CEO, the founder, the co-founder, no one's gonna care that much. So if I know if I have my wife on my side, or I'm here to support her in her speaking gigs and stuff, I know that we will be more successful because we're working as a team. And people need to learn how to work as a team. You need to start thinking about what's more important in life. Is hanging out with your friends more important, or is it your loved ones that you have at home that's been there waiting for you to come home every day? The ones that's been at work, put you on hold because they're talking to somebody in their office, which I've done 1,000 times. And I look back at that and I says, man, I was wrong. I truly know who has been there for me every single day. And when I didn't get off of work on time, who you think drove 30 miles to come up there and pick up the kids? And I felt bad. I didn't even want to answer my phone because I knew it's that time. She probably already drove up here to pick up a baby girl. But then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, are you doing the right thing as an individual? Are you holding your weight? Are you putting this job in front of your family? And if you're putting this job in front of your families, is it your passion? Is this job your passion? Is this what you love to do? Can you walk away from this job? And if you can walk away from this job right here, you have to ask yourself, who's going to be there for you? Who's going to be there? If you get fired today, who's going to be there for you? Not those guys you work with, not your boss. He done fired you. But I guarantee you, if you continue to put your family first, they're going to be there. And you can do anything in life, anything else. You can start a whole new career if you have that person that's sitting right next to you to support you. In the military, we can go anywhere in the world just knowing that we have our loved ones with us, because you are the ones who create all your expectations in life anyway. So it doesn't matter where you go. It's what you create in your mind, what you create together and says, hey, let's do this. We don't have to have all this stuff. We can just go out and have a picnic at the park with the kids. Because if you don't know, kids love the park. They love the park. They don't need to go to Disney World, Disneyland, Six Flags. Just take them to the park. That's all you got to do. Play with them every day. Even if they beat you down and make you play horsey every day and your knees hurting like me, it doesn't matter. Because guess what? You're going to bring so much joy to your little ones that they're going to remember that for the rest of your life. But the boss that kept you at work 2 hours, 3 hours, they ain't going to remember you. So you think about what you really want in life. You think about your passion and go after that. Because no matter if you fail at your passion, it doesn't matter. Because if it's truly your passion, you will work for free. That's how you know. Go to work today and sit there and say, would I do this job for free? Are you crazy? Then that's not your passion.
No.
But I know when me and the wife are talking, and we're talking about speaking gigs and creating these websites and selling, like my wife does a whole things with the gems and on the, what do you call it, crystals and the bracelets, and she designs shirts, t-shirts, and masks, and so many things. We could sit there all night long and never get bored of talking about ideas and chasing our passion, because it's something we would love to do. We like to talk to people. We like to help people. But it's hard to talk to people if they don't want to listen. Like me, I didn't listen to many years until I went through it and I seen it. Because when the military shut that door on me, or I walked out the military on my own terms, that's right, buddy. I walked out because of who, RJ? I walked out because of you. And I will never forget that. And that was the best decision I ever made. And out of a total of 6 kids, you being the sixth, I never really had to raise a newborn. I didn't raise them, of course, but I have never had to sit at home with a newborn for 4 or 5 hours. Because I guarantee you one thing, I got about 20,000 steps in about 2 hours. But I did it. And I was thankful I did it because it was the right thing to do. Because at that moment in time, my last 4 months in the military, I made the right decision. And I stayed home with my son as a newborn, taking care of him, because that's when I learned to put my family first. And I truly didn't realize it until I stepped out of the doors and took that uniform off, who was really there with me, because no one called me. All those 1,000 and something people I had saved in my phone, probably about 5 people called me. And that's I'm just keeping 100. Ask how many people call me today. Probably 5. 5 people. So, but it don't matter. You know why? I get to come home to that lady right there. And that's the best part of my day. Even if I work 12-hour shift, I know I get to come home to her. And when you want to go out there and chase that money and go overseas to Iraq and Afghanistan as a contractor, think about what you're leaving behind. Think about you not being there for your family. You need to put your priorities on paper. And then you need to share those priorities with your loved ones. And you need to find out by looking in her eyes, not just her saying, yeah, it's okay, we'll sacrifice, you go there. No, is it really okay? Is it really, you think that they will want you to leave their family? Because what you just did, you're like, oh, I'm just trying to set up my family for success. But what you just did is that you put all your responsibilities on her. Is that right? Couldn't you get a job somewhere else? It may not be as much money, but I guarantee it's enough to survive. And if you had to get 2 jobs, you could do it. But you choose to take the easy way out or not work hard enough to get what you need to in order to provide for your family. And that really hurts because it's been proven. I did it for many years. And I just realized what's the most important to me. And that's my family. And I'd rather go home with empty pockets than not have my family. If I have my family, I can do all things. All things. God and my family. I can do all things. That's it, baby. You got me heated now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to end this and stop it. We're going to come back next Wednesday and we will see what we chat about. If it's expectations, if it's relationships. I mean, because everything in our life, in our world, revolves around what we expect people to do and what we expect from other people, because expectations run everything. And when a lady I was talking to yesterday, she said all expectations do is cause fear and stop it. Fear causes pain and suffering. So when we expect something from somebody, just know that you may not get the result you want because you expect somebody else to do what you thought they should be doing. All right, everybody have an amazing, amazing rest of the night, right? All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.